In this video, we're going to continue with querying records, specifically looking at comparison operators. So comparison operators limit the results based on some criteria. As you can see here, we have several comparison operators. Equal to, not equal to is going to be less than and greater than next to each other. You can also use exclamation point equals in some SQL environments, such as MySQL. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. So if I was asked to show all products with their description and price that are less than $275, I'd say select description, price, which are the columns I want to return, from the product table where the price is less than $275. So here I am back at the server. I've copied this query over. I am using the lecture schema. I'm going to go ahead and run this query. And you can see that we have all of these products that have been returned that are less than $275. The next type of operators we're going to look at are the in and not in operator when querying records. So in includes all the rows that meet more than one criteria. Not in excludes those rows. So for example, if I wanted to show the customer name and state for all customers who live in Florida, Texas, California, or Hawaii, I'd say select name and state, because those are the columns I'm interested in, from customer, where the state is in, and then in between parentheses, I have a comma separated list of values that I'm interested in, such as Florida, Texas, California, and Hawaii. So we're back here at the server. I'm going to go ahead and paste this next query. I'll go ahead and run it, and it shows that we have returned 4 rows from 3 of the 4 states, indicating that we do not have any customers that reside in the state of Hawaii. Alright, so now here are some other learning activities for you to practice on your own. So try these, pause the video, and then come back to compare your answers. Alright, welcome back. So I have pasted all of these queries here, and I'll just put a pound sign in front of each of them to indicate that they are comments. So this first one asks us to show payments that are greater than $2,000. The first thing I'm going to do is go to the tables and look at the payment table. So I can either come here to the table structure and click down here and see what columns I'm looking for. So amount is probably what I'm looking for. Additionally, I can go to the ERD. This is a quicker way to see the columns that I'm looking for. So I see that amount is probably what I'm interested in. So I'm going to select star from payment where the amount is greater than $2,000. I'll go ahead and run this, and we see that 2 results are returned, and you can see that their amounts are greater than $2,000. All right, this next query asks us to show customers whose state is not in New York. So let's go over here to the ERD, and we see the customer table has a column named state. So we're going to go ahead and select star from the customer table where the state, and we're using the operator of not equal to. So I'm going to use exclamation point equals to. You could additionally use less than or greater than to work as well. And then I'll put New York in single quotes. So we'll go ahead and run this query. And we see that 10 rows have been returned, and all of them are not from the state of New York. All right, this next query asks us to show products between $200 and $300. So we're going to go back to our ERD. We'll look at the product table, and we see that it has a price column. So in order to do this, we're going to say select star from the product table where the price is greater than or equal to $200, because between includes the extremities, which means it will include the outermost values, and which is another keyword that we're going to learn more about later on in subsequent videos, but this basically allows us to evaluate based on multiple criteria. And price is less than or equal to $300, because again, we want to include the extremities. So I go ahead and run this, and we see that all of our prices for our products that have been returned are between $200 and $300 with the extremities included here. This next query asks us to show employees hired before the year 2018. So we're going to go back to our ERD. I'll look at the employee table, and what we're looking for is the date hired column. So we'll say select star from the employee table where the date hired is before 2018. Now, with dates, we have to be cautious because dates are actually a string, which means text rather than a number. And dates are written in the format of year, month, day. And so we have to make sure that we are evaluating based off of this string. Now, since we are just looking at the year alone, it's okay to use just less than 2018. But if we were looking for the month, for example, if I wanted to know before June 1st, 2018, I'd have to put this in quotes with 0601 as well. And so this is how I'd find something before June 1st, 2018. Now, if I wanted to include June 1st, I could do less than or equal to. So an alternative option to just putting 2018 is I could do 2017, 12/31. Additionally, I could say less than 2018, 01/01. So I'll go ahead and run this, and we see that each of these employees were hired before 2018. The next query asks us to show employees whose last name is in the last half of the alphabet. So we know that there is a last name field in the employee table. So we're going to select star from the employee table where the last name is in the last half. So it's going to be greater than N. I run this query and we see that we have one employee whose last name is in the last half of the alphabet. This next query asks us to show products that don't have an oak or walnut finish. So coming back to the ERD, we see a finish column in the product table. So we're going to go ahead and select star from the product table, and then we are going to exclude those pieces. So we're going to say where finish is not in, because we're looking for a list of values, and I'll just use comma separated values of oak and walnut in between parentheses. I'll go ahead and run this, and it will show that all the finishes that we have for these products are not oak or walnut. If I wanted to include just oak and walnut, I could get rid of the not, and that would return just results with oak or walnut in them. I'll add that back because this is actually the response to that query. All right, the next question asks us to show skills with the code of QC1, RT1, and SB1. So let's go to the skill table, and we see there is a code field. So what we're going to do is select star from the skill table where the code is in that list of values, so inside of single quotes. And let's go ahead and run this, and we can see that the 3 codes that we are looking for were returned in our results set.